Yo guys, Jiki here. As per request from quite a few of my opponents lately, I've decided to make a video series even, based on Kazuya's Counterplay in Ultimate. It's going to include a lot of very important things that I don't see many people use, and I don't see many Kazuya players that know about this either, so let's begin. I've got my input viewer here, so you'll know exactly what inputs I'm doing at all times. It'll be a good visualizer and example for various scenarios that the computer is in. And trust me, this isn't gonna just be me saying, haha, just low poke, because for some characters it definitely helps a lot, but for others it doesn't really work as well. So it's not going to be about how to space around electric necessarily, it's going to be more about what to do if you get hit by electric. Before getting into the rest of the video, most people just click off smaller channels such as this one. But if you're enjoying the content and you just want to support the channel, feel free to leave a like and maybe subscribe. So we are now in training mode, and I've selected Terry since he's a pretty middleweight character, so it'll be pretty standard if he escapes it for your character to be able to escape it as well. So the first step for Kazuya's DI is if I go to DI direction and press away here, if he's DIing away, you can see the line, the blue line that appears. Let me just go frame by frame. You can see the line that appears right around his head area there. It's the blue line. So right now I've set the computer to DI away, but if I go and set it to in, then you'll see the blue line appears in a different direction, and it puts him in a much different spot. So you can see the blue line goes pretty much just like this, like that. And it also points him in the direction that he'll fly, so you can see he went in that exact direction. And he lands about right in front of me. And that'll happen with pretty much every character in the game. So the first step is either just DIing in like that, or if I go back here, so he's DIing out and he's DIing in. So that's the first part, and this can be pretty easily reacted to by just following the DI. Like I can see he's going out, in, so that was just all DI in. So that's the first part, and then the second step is going to be mixing up that DI. Should be here on direction, probably maybe like this. Yeah, so with the computer, it's kind of impossible to do this as a human, or at least it's very difficult. You can see it's left, it's right, it's left, it's right. It's just moving all over the place, and then it ends up going left, so the DI is out. It kind of just depends. You can see he's going out there, and he went in there. And it really just depends on where you end up holding the DI. Like on the final frame of EWGF stun, right about there, right there, you can see the DI line is going straight up and slightly to the left, and that's exactly where Terry will go. So that's the second step. So if you do that, it'll be quite difficult for Kazuya players to follow up unless it's on Final Destination, in which case they have Counterplay like this, where they can dash forward and do any option like that. Auto turn will cause him to face towards the opponent and will get the follow-up for you. So it's a little goofy, yeah, but that's how his combos work. That sounds like a pretty bad situation, of course, because if Kazuya is going to be able to follow up in every area, you're pretty much just relying on them messing up, which good Kazuya players won't do. But if I go back to Battlefield here, I'll be showing you the third and most important step here. And this one will be pretty game-changing, I think, for the future of Kazuya's meta, because I haven't heard anyone talking about it, but it's definitely very important, in my opinion, for fighting against Kazuya. There have been several Kazuyas who I fight who are so used to fighting players that don't do any of these DI steps that they are just used to it and get combos for free, get kills for free, and their opponents just let them get away with it. But here, you'll see in a minute that that probably won't happen here. Trying to actually get follow-ups with proper DI is going to be very difficult. So what I'm going to explain here is, as we discussed before, DI out will put Terry around here in this position where I'm jumping, and DI in will put you about right here. So you can use that knowledge to your advantage. We're going to call this area where you can DI the DI arc. So if he DIs in, this is part of the arc right here. This is the arc right in here. Everywhere where I'm jumping is the DI arc for Kazuya. And it's where Terry can fly, or just anyone can fly, depending on where you DI. So that's going to be very crucial for this upcoming step here. Alright, so the previous segment was recorded about probably 2 months ago now, when I was a little bit less clear on what this actually meant and how to explain it. So I'm going to just explain it now in simpler terms than I would have back then. If we have Terry right here in the center of battlefield, small battlefield, and he's DIing in, the DI arc will put him there. If he DIs out, it'll put him on the platform right there, as you just saw. So what you just saw there was the most important interaction when it comes to Kazuya's DI counterplay. That's the fact that Terry went onto the platform when he held completely out, and he didn't go onto the platform when he held in. As you can see, he landed on the very edge of the platform, and anywhere that isn't holding completely out in that scenario will put him off the platform. So now if we go back to this image right here with the DI arc, you can see that this line right here covers a pretty decent space. And what we're going to do with the information is this area right here is platform, and it's about 25%, so we'll mark that with this red line. And this other area, which we'll keep as a black line, is probably about 75% of the area. So what are we going to do with that information? Well, from 9 out of 10 times that a opponent is put in this scenario, they will DI in the direction that is 75% here. What you should actually be doing is DIing in the direction that's 25%, because the Kazuya player will instinctively think, oh, there's a 75% chance that my opponent will DI off the platform, so I guess I'll just follow up in that direction. The opponent is still DIing in that 75% range, which is why I can still follow up here. Just to prove that I'm not crazy, if you look at this example here of Light versus Riddles, you can see that Light is DIing in. You can see the DI line right about here. And Riddles eventually hits him with a nair, and then he kills him off of it. Light could avoid this situation by just DIing to that like 25% area, which would be right here, instead of DIing in, which is right here. If Light DI is out here, he will land on the platform, and if he tech rolls away, he will be far out of range of where Riddles will be heading. Instead, though, he gets hit with a nair follow-up into death. Something that's very important to note here is that, as you can see, this ferps tech, this IDJ nail to the platform that leads into the crumple there, it's a commitment, and you have to do it immediately after hitting the electric. Because if I'm doing it too late and try to react, it doesn't work, and I'm too slow. Every time you hit the opponent with an electric, that range resets based on where the opponent can fly based on the DI arc that I've just explained previously. So in this scenario, if Terry gets hit with an electric, DIing in will put him right here, DIing out will put him right here, and anywhere in between will put him on or off the platform. So that range resets, and now since he can go here, it's about 60%, and over here he can go, it's about 40%. In conclusion, DI is subjective in the Kazuya matchup. However, it's generally best to DI either on or off a platform based on the lower of the percentages of platform or no platform in the DI arc. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content and you like what you see, feel free to leave a like and maybe subscribe if you feel like it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.